Hey Jeff, how you doing? This is Rob, Vinny, and Mike over with Over the Top Sports. We talked about getting a couple of minutes with you. How you doing?
Good, man. Let's get to it. I'm trying to stay on schedule here.
Okay, well, thank you so much, and we'll get right into it. And it's going to be a very exciting week for you. I'm so happy that you had time for us. After all these years, Jeff Jarrett into the WWE Hall of Fame. I wanted to ask you, first of all, congratulations. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes with us. What was it like to get that phone call, and what emotions went through your mind and your body, and how did this start to come about?
The call came in early January, and all in about a couple of minutes, I was overcome with all kinds of emotion. I was shocked. I was, like a lot of people, it was a surreal moment. I was incredibly humbled. Once it started to sink in, Karen was getting ready for church, and I was already ready. The kids were getting ready, and the phone call came, and I just had to sit there, and I joked with the person on the other line that I said, is this a multiple choice question, like yes, no, maybe, I'll get back with you. But no, it's really been cool, and over the last 4, 5, 6 weeks, getting the opportunity once it was announced on February 19th to, do the press and the PR that comes along with it. I've been quite overwhelmed, but I'm very excited, very, very excited to get on the stage, on Friday, Smoothie King Center and April 6th can't come quick enough. I'll just say that.
And Jeff, congratulations. You were great in the ring, but once this was announced that you were going into the Hall of Fame, a lot of wrestlers started coming forward saying how instrumental you are for their careers. How rewarding is that factor?
I'm incredibly humbled, and I, from the one hand, I appreciate it, I understand it. Bobby Roode, AJ, and others that have come out and said that, but I've always said, obviously I was a fan before I was a wrestler, and a wrestler before I was a promoter, and I've always had the firm belief that talent gets you to the top, and your attitude keeps you there. But a guy like AJ Styles, it's incredibly humbling. But what AJ's accomplished is all on AJ, 100%. So I couldn't be happier for these guys. But it's very, very nice and humbling for them to mention that, and I'm grateful for that as well.
So Friday night, you had the Road Dogg Jesse James inductee into the Hall of Fame. Was he appointed by you, or did the WWE appoint him?
Let's just say I couldn't be happier. It was, it was a decision in my mind that was a no-brainer, without question. I'm humbled that other people were discussed and talked about, but in my mind, when it comes to the Road Dogg, there's only one him. There's only one guy in my mind that should induct me, and I'm very, very happy that he's doing it, and that is truly an understatement.
Jeff, we've seen Goldberg go in, Kurt Angle go in, some big names, now yourself go in, and they've had matches, Jeff. Is there something coming in the future here, a match for Jeff Jarrett back with WWE?
I'll just say this, NBC Sports is the one that broke the story, WWE and how they navigate the press, they're second to none, but Scott Norris, the writer, he said it very eloquently. Never say never. It's not the first time that's been said, but I'll leave it there. So I would have never expected this in my wildest dreams. So who knows what the future holds. At the current time, I'm just really laser focused on WrestleMania weekend and the Hall of Fame and getting to go to Mania with absolutely no responsibilities.
WWE Hall of Famer, soon-to-be Hall of Famer Jeff Jarrett with us on Over the Top Sports Radio. And Jeff, when you look back at your time in WWE, and that you had a great career after it too, and still going, but is there a specific moment, a match, an event that happened that you hold dear to your heart, you think of first when you think about your career spent with WWF/WWE?
Man, it's really hard. Doing all the press that I've done, obviously me teaming with Owen Hart was a special time. My series of matches, there was really a group of 4 of us: Shawn Michaels, Diesel, Kevin Nash, Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, however you want to refer to them. But that was 93, 94, 95, that era. We had a series of tag matches, me and Shawn against Kevin and Scott and Road Dogg at ringside that were really, really extra special. So not any one moment or any one match, but that was and the Double J introductory vignettes. Those were a lot of fun to do, and it was obviously new for me to do those types of things. So specifically, was very, very special, obviously.
And, you brought up Owen Hart. And one of my memories about, that night when Owen left us was seeing your reaction, your very real reaction. You're one of the great heels that I remember watching as a kid. And I was young then, and I saw that. And it was one of the things that when I saw you, trying to have to follow that up, just reminds us, or maybe even showed me as a younger guy, that you guys are like humans. You're superheroes, but you're also humans, and it was just such a great job by you to try to stay professional, all that. But also, you know what? I saw that. What was that night like for you? Is that just obviously it was a low point, but what are your thoughts about that night?
Tough. It's such a very, very, very difficult set of circumstances from the time of the accident until weeks, months, if not years moving forward. Just looking back, obviously just a very, very unfortunate, but unfortunately God called him home, and that's how I rest with it. And Owen's time on earth was finished here, but what a special human being. But no, the pay-per-view and the Raw following it, just very, very difficult. Very, very difficult time for all involved. I like to remember the fond days, and there were a lot of them with Owen. I can assure you that.
Double J, I want to talk about one of the biggest shoots in WCW, Bash at the Beach 2000, when you laid down for Hogan and he walked out from the company that night. What was going on backstage? What did Russo say to you before? And what's your relationship like with Hogan these days?
Well, me and Hulk, I just talked to him within the month. We caught up. But no, that is to me, it's almost a microcosm of the WCW wrestling business. It was how, the unfortunate situation manifested itself. The final piece of that puzzle was when Vince literally acquired the entire library for pennies, so to speak, and it was game, set, match, and the wrestling war, that not just the Monday Night War, but the true war between WWF and the Turner Group was over. But that situation with Bash at the Beach, nobody won. Certainly Hogan, Bischoff, Russo, myself, and most importantly the fans. But there's a lot of it said about that, and a lot of different versions and a lot of different stories. None of them are productive. They may be fun to reminisce and rehash, but coming from the business, and my family's been in it 3 generations. To me, that was just the ugliness of the WCW situation that didn't have to happen. It just didn't.
All right, and you mentioned before you were surprised about being inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame. We all were, and I'll never forget when Vince McMahon had the simulcast going with Nitro and WWE at the same time. He kind of picked a little shot out at you with the capital G, double O, double N, double E, gone kind of thing. What's your relationship like with the boss now? Is everything healed? Everything's good with you and Triple H now that you're in the Hall?
Well, that vignette, and I just sort of referenced it, that was the end of the war. And here we are 17, 18 years later, that 2-hour simulcast, and we're still talking about maybe a 90-second promo. But Vince is good at a lot of things, but he's certainly great of making and delivering and executing and producing good television. So it made for great TV. I was finishing out my contract for the next 7 or 8 months. Nobody knew really from a talent standpoint what the next steps were, but it certainly made great television. And Vince's family and my family were multi-generations in this industry, and what Vince and his family and the WWE have done, and the vision that they've done with the wrestling industry is just unbelievable. So I'm looking forward to reconnecting with with Vince, Triple H, all involved. I'm really excited about getting to New Orleans.
And Jeff, back to the ring-wise, where did Slapnuts come from?
Well, choke on that first off, but no, that was funny. In those early days of Slapnuts, and hearing the Turner lawyers and standards and practices come to me and wanting to know the definition and what's that about, what does it mean, and give us the real terminology, everything that they just were freaking out over it. Shirts were made and buildings were signed, and a slappy in my grandmother's vernacular was somebody who slapped their gums together, who knew more and more about less and less every day. So throw nuts on the end of it, slap nuts, and it stuck. That's for sure.
And Don't Piss Me Off was a shirt that I own too, and I think I still have it somewhere, so I like that one too. But listen, before we let you go, I know you say never, and you never know, but if it came down to it, if Jeff Jarrett could book one final match on a grand stage, say a WrestleMania, or it could be anywhere, and you could have a dream opponent, whether somebody you faced before or somebody you've never faced, Jeff, who would that guy be?
I'll leave that up to you guys, the wrestling journalists, podcasters, interviewers, because, I could have a list a mile long. When you sit and look at the WWE rosters, and it's plural, 205, NXT, Raw, SmackDown, and the depth of talent. And the abilities, it's like, wow, it's pretty incredible. But I'll leave it up to you guys. I'll turn it around and ask you, who would you like to see? Because my list is long. I'll say that.
Yeah, well, our list is long too, and you know what? I hope that's able to be, found out one day, and hopefully we get to see that kind of match. But we follow you no matter where you are, and listen, you've done every media request, and you did a little show like ours, and it couldn't be appreciated much, and we've always appreciated you in your career. We could go for hours, but we're going to let you go. Thank you so much for joining us on Over the Top Sports Radio. Best of luck next weekend. Enjoy every minute of it.
All right, thanks, guys. You guys have a great day.
All right, thank you.
Jeff. Thank you.
Double Jeff. Thank you. Jeff Jarrett right there on Over the Top.